Governor Patrick Morrisey held a press conference earlier this morning to discuss what the state is doing regarding flooding relief. He started by emphasizing that the snow has caused some difficulties in getting supplies to affected areas. The governor is hopeful that we will get FEMA feedback soon, but is certain that some of the highest priority counties should reach the trigger to receive that FEMA assistance. There have been over 135 water rescues, 64 mining inspections, and 9 oil and gas inspections. 2 school districts are still closed as a result of the flooding in McDowell and Mingo counties. This is truly a historic weather event, with 4.72 inches of rain falling in less than 72 hours. There is still some high water in counties, and the DOT is working to clear the roads, but use caution while driving. The Tug Fork River crested at 49 feet, which is believed to be the second highest recorded in history. Governor Patrick Morrisey said that the challenge is as the water receded and the winter storm came in, the snow is making restoring power and water difficult. And good news, as of this morning, only 138 accounts are without power, a huge movement from the original 64,000. Over 10,000 people have water disruptions, and a significant number are in the Logan Northern Regional PSD District. Significant amounts of water have been delivered, though, with over 200,000 bottles. American Red Cross is actively assisting with shelters and other actions. Governor Morrisey gives a special thanks to the linemen working to restore power, but also all volunteers.
The amount of volunteer assistance that's been pouring in, it makes you very proud to be a West Virginian.
The governor emphasizes that going online and reporting what is happening in your area helps people on the ground coordinate relief. That website is emd.wv.gov/disaster survey.